Hello and welcome in, everybody. I just want to say happy Sunday. I am recording this just on the very cusp of 10,000 subscribers. I think when I checked just a few moments ago, I was 7 subscribers away. I can't believe this. Thank you all so much for getting me there. I am so excited, not only from where I've come from, but also where I'm headed with my channel. And again, 2025 is going to be amazing. And it's because of all of you. I wouldn't have a channel and I wouldn't have the drive to do this. So thank you for the love and sharing out my channel. And thank you so much for all you've done for me over the last year. Today is a very special video because I was going to do the Christmas ornament collection, and I decided to wait on that just for a little while longer. I hope I have the video done and up by maybe Monday or Tuesday. So I think that's like the 23rd or the 24th. I cannot believe Christmas Eve is just in a few days. And Merry Christmas to everybody here. 3 things that I bought today. I wasn't planning on going antiquing, but sometimes, as I've said, the universe steers us in a direction, and I was with Jeremy and I said, let's stop out at this antique shop that I hadn't been to in a while. I did buy other pieces there. I bought a beautiful rose bowl. I bought a piece of Venetian glass either there or at the shop after it. But Jeremy so kindly stuck with me and said, let's go. Let's do this. It's no problem. And he's always so willing to let me listen to that inner voice and that guide. And I so appreciate his kindness with me in understanding that when I feel like I'm supposed to do something or go somewhere, he absolutely lets me and he encourages it. So Jeremy, thank you so much for all that you do for me. So this is a sterling silver rosary, and I think I have 100 and I sold some, so I think I have 117 left, which seems like an awful lot, but I love them, and I've collected them for a long time, and the sterling versions are getting harder and harder to find, but look how beautiful that is for a crystal and sterling silver rosary. Please stay tuned because I am going to discuss my Puffy heart collection with all of you today. So it is the parade of Puffy hearts, as I promised, and we'll get into that in just a few moments, but this was only $20. I've been selling these between $60 and $90, depending on color and how complex they are. So there was a lot of money left in that, clearly marked sterling. Always make sure that they're marked sterling. Sometimes the crosses have been replaced, so always check this medallion in the center here and make sure that is marked sterling as well. So, which it is right there. So just make sure that all pieces are sterling. And once that is marked on both of those, then the rest of the chain construction is also sterling. And look how beautiful those crystal beads are. Almost like acorn shaped and all hand faceted. Crystal beads. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. So 2 other pieces that I bought when I was there. And you have to understand, I think I've owned these now for 2.5 hours. Or maybe it was 3 hours. But this one was unusual enough to have me take a second look. And when I've said to you, take your time, slow down, take a second look, and also take the chance, this was labeled as a Scarab in sterling silver, and it was $30. There we go, $30. And what I loved about this, and what I thought was special about this, is it's a unique version. And when you see these scarabs, I would say almost a strong 99 out of 100, or let's say I would even increase those odds against it being ancient. I would say probably 990 out of 1,000 are not ancient. And in fact, like replica. This one I wasn't sure on. And the reason for that is the color and the form, and also the detail of the face. It does not look like that hurried tourist trade right off the rip, fake, all day long fake. So this will take some time. I will slow down because I did have a Scarab a few years ago that I thought was a reproduction, and it was not. It was confirmed to be ancient and faience, which is pottery. They also made these in steatite, which is a stone. The hieroglyphics on this didn't seem crisp enough or detailed enough at first glance. However, I have seen ancient scarabs that were not highly modeled or finely detailed in those recess areas because of where the glaze kind of seeps in and settles down. I am by no means an expert in ancient Egyptian artifacts, but when I see a form like this, and I see attention to detail on the legs, on the edge of that shell or where the wings are folded under, plus the detail of that face, that makes me slow down and think, could that potentially be right? I'm 50-50 on this as of right now, but I have not spent enough time with it. I let these items, there's the export mark for silver from Egypt. This one, mounted this way, it would be from probably the late 30s. I don't think this went into the 40s or 50s. Not on this specific version. So we'll restudy that in future videos. And I'm always willing to bring things on as I learn. Because I tell you, I learn every day of my life. And for those that say, well, I'm an expert or I'm a this, they have a lot to learn. They have a lot to learn because experts are called experts by other people in their shared fields. No one who's an expert says, I'm an expert. As soon as they do that, run for the hills. Absolutely, my opinion, and in my experience, I learn every single day. I also look at how that glaze settled in here and the age and the slight oxidation to the back of that scarab. There's something about this that I really need to slow down with that. And for $30, you're darn right I was willing to take the chance on that. What's the worst case scenario? I sell it for $30 that I paid for it. Because it's highly modeled, it's finely done. It's a gorgeous example. So if it's ancient, what would it be worth? Depending on dynasty or what the hieroglyphics say, it could be $200, it could be $400, it could be thousands of dollars. So it just depends. On that specific one, I will do research, but I wanted you to see the transparency of me learning every day of my life and examining things and slowing down. When you say, well, you don't talk about your mistakes or you don't talk about the process, that's a classic example of I am in the process of figuring it out. And I will be bringing more items on throughout the next year as I find them. As I find these treasures out in the wild, how do I do the research? How do I slow down? Who do I contact? I think that's very important to the legacy of my channel and defining me as a collector. Let's just say that. This is David Anderson, and why I picked this one, the color and the size and the quality of the enamel, sterling silver, absolutely appropriately marked on the back, David Anderson, Norway, sterling, and then 925, had a gold wash back in the day. Totally usual for these. What I just love the grace, and I love that color and that kind of secondary purple or lavender that's with this earth tone and green and yellow. As a child, I was fascinated by monarch butterflies, and I actually have a David Anderson that is a monarch butterfly in the most gorgeous enamels. And David Anderson butterflies and moths, I now have, I think, around 35 or 40 of them. And if you want to see more of my insect jewelry collection, go back to my past videos, because I did a video on some of my insect jewelry, both antique and vintage. So if you like that, please go over to that video. Now, while you're here today, and I didn't want to stay on too long, I didn't feel like I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was going to be a long video, and it might take a little bit of time to get through these. But I had promised to show you a portion of my Puffy heart jewelry collection. We'll start with a few of the loose ones in these bags, and I am in process of constructing 2 more bracelets of the puffy hearts that I'm keeping. A lot of these were, and circa dating on these, people can, argue over circa dating or dates. Most of the puffy hearts and hearts like this were starting to be mass produced in the 1920s into the 1930s, and by about the 1940s, specifically by the 1950s, is pretty much done. So there is several decades of production of sterling silver puffy hearts. These were given as love tokens. Most were engraved with either the initials of the loved one that was presenting it. Sometimes you'll see the word mama, or you'll see the word sister, or you'll see, just a heart with initials. It was a love token given to another person. This is one of the padlock hearts that is actually the clasp off of a bracelet. If you see these, they're getting harder and harder to find and more expensive. Make sure that little thumb clasp springs shut. These need to work. Sometimes there is a key that will lock this and unlock this. This one never had that. This was just one that was just a faux lock. If this is enameled with brightly colored glass enamel, that could go for $100 or $125 by itself. As this one goes, sterling silver in that kind of condition, I would say around $35 to $45. The curb link bracelets are also bringing a lot of money. So be on the lookout for the original curb link bracelets. I have 4 of them, and unfortunately I couldn't find them for the video. These are very tarnished, so they are going to get my hands dirty. I do need to wipe them down, but this one is just fantastic, and I love the asymmetry of some of these. Now, people will say that they're chased and reposate. No, that's die formed. So that's put into a die, punched out, and it is hollow formed. They're 2 pieces. How I know that is, sometimes you'll find them, they will be broken in half, and then on this ring they stay together. I have soldered those back together. Look how dirty those are. Very, very dirty. That one is engraved with the initials and also sterling. That one could be slightly earlier, 1910 possibly on that one. And again, circa dating gives us that 10-year grace period, so no one comes after you. This one is accented with turquoise, very small turquoise stones. What was wonderful about this little assortment of these puffy hearts, I bought all of these. Let's see here. Yes, I bought all of these in the antique mall towards Toledo, Ohio. I forget the city that it's in, but I got all of these for $18. Inside of a bag for $18. Usually on these, they go between, on the lowest end, they go for $20. On the higher end, they go for $45 or $55 per puffy heart. Per heart and per charm. I do not polish mine because I want them to look authentically old. Be aware there are reproduction puffy hearts. When you see them, they are usually solid sterling silver. Let me get my hands wiped off over here because those were really dirty. I would say that, yeah, that definitely needs to be cleaned, but you can hear, I'll let you hear the noise. You can hear that they're hollow because you'll say, well, how do you know if they're hollow? If they're reproduction and they're cast solid, what's the difference? Listen to this. Do you hear that? Do you hear that noise? It's like bells. Don't listen to my stomach growling. Those are like bells. They're hollow. They're lightweight. These are originals. These are original puffy hearts. So we have the U.S. Navy, we have the Marines, and we have the Air Force. The reason why the Army one is missing, I did take it off of here because my dad was in the Army, and I'm making a kind of heirloom bracelet of my life, and I did remove the Army charm for my bracelet. So I still have it. And there you go. So there's the 3 of those. I would say, again, if someone needs these for their bracelet, you could be in the vicinity of, I would say at least $40 a piece, maybe slightly more. And these are just great because they mean something. Modular charm bracelets these days at the mall, they're empty, they're void, they don't mean anything. Everybody has the same modular charm bracelet. Everybody has the same glass bead. Everyone has the same style of whatever random charm it is. These have such personality and life, and they're love tokens. I loved that simplistic sterling bracelet that those are on as well. So there's those. Now, the one that came in the bag with the other ones, this is just fantastic. And I did look this up. And of course, I don't remember the specifics on it. But anytime you get into the enamel charms, you get into greater money. And we won't spend too long on this one, but look at that. Absolutely gorgeous enamel on solid sterling silver. Again, that when I say solid, it's just hollow formed, but it's solid sterling in construction. Absolutely gorgeous enamel. When you find them from different places, this would sell outside the state of Ohio, no problem. You know, in Ohio, we don't relate to it as much. So if they go back to where they're from, can you imagine someone that needs that? That's incredible. I would say on that one, you may be able to get between 50 and 75. And to the right person who needs that for their bracelet, maybe you get $100. You know, and price is subjective. I only go on my experience over the years. This bracelet, I have the sister bracelet to this. This is by Walter Lample. So Walter Lample cranked out and produced these massive numbers of these Puffy heart charm bracelets. There's the WL in that kind of shield shape hallmark, sterling silver. There is that thumb, kind of thumb lock padlock. And again, this never had a key to function it. I do have one. No, I have 3 that have their original keys, and I don't have one out today. So we'll have to do that in a future video. Just remind me and I'll bring those back, no problem. I could not find the sister to this Walter Lample bracelet. The in-between hearts are Walter Lample, but they are not signed with the Lample hallmark. This whole bracelet is completely Walter Lample. The curb link chain, the padlock, and every single heart, let me clasp this, every single heart on here is a Lample Puffy heart. And let's get this. Why am I struggling so bad? Wow, look at that. The struggle is real, even for me. So let's see if we can get that in there. I don't know why my hands are not working. They're not cooperating. My hands went on break. My mind and my mouth didn't stop, but my hands did. So there are the clovers and shamrocks, and that's, of course, Lample. We all know the designs. Let me say this much. On the other bracelet I couldn't get my hands on, these all have different colored enamel. I think they're green, red, and a very turquoise blue on my other Puffy heart bracelet. I do have these with all enamel over the surface except for the hearts and that raised surface. So in the recessed areas, there's enamel. Here's the difference. Let's talk on this specific Walter Lample heart. That would be between $35 and $45. Could you get it for $25? Maybe. Could you get it for $50? Maybe. It depends. It depends on supply and demand. So when you see it with enamel, that elevates the price by, if it was enameled, it could be $85, $95, or $100. Still today. When I bought this bracelet years ago, it was $35. $35. I was offered $700 for this, and I declined. I just said, and that was about 5 months ago. I declined. I said, no, I'm simply not going to do it. The reason why is supply and demand. We all know that there's fewer of these in the world than initially was thought of. Now, maybe some will start to surface. Maybe that supply will become greater and the demand might become less. We don't know. As antique dealers, we can kind of predict certain things. I love the style of this bracelet. And did you hear how this sounds? Do you hear that? That is such a beautiful noise. And you now know that these are hollow formed. Be careful. Beware. Someone, aka a company, was using this as a mold, taking a mold of this and casting these solid. There are reproductions of these puffy hearts. Do not fall prey to it. Do your research and listen. Listen to the noise. Hear how those are all hollow formed? That is one of my biggest tips when it comes to collecting puffy hearts of any sort. You might ask yourself, do you find them in gold ever? Yes, I do. I have a few gold ones in my collection, and they are on a gold charm bracelet. I like to keep my metals separate. I like to keep my metals like each other. When I create these, I don't know, I guess you could say ensembles of jewelry, I like to keep metals the same. Everybody, everywhere I go, begs me for this bracelet, and I always say a very simple no. I constructed this for myself. It started with 2 rows of hearts, and in the center, this was Helen's bracelet. I always leave the names on my pieces because it just makes sense to me. This had a life before me. So in honor of Helen, whomever she was, I left her ID portion of the bracelet there. Some people may take that out. Some people might buff that off. Some people might erase that. I would never, in my right mind, I would never erase that. So there were 3 rows. This one, and this one. So there were 3 rows of hearts on this bracelet. I added this whole other bracelet to those 2, so it became 3 layers, and I kind of gradated the length of the chain to make them lay right when they're on the wrist. I did add a Capricorn charm for myself. I added a little coffee pot down on this end. Some people say a teapot. I say it's a coffee pot for the sake of Jeremy. And I did add a J on here. There is a J charm. There it is. There's a puffy heart with a J, and that's for Jeremy. Or it's for Jason. So I like my things to not only inherit a gift of love from Helen, but also to be reinvented for my life. There's a good luck heart. There's kind of a stylized flower. Let's go in a little closer on these. Let me zoom in for you. There we go. And I don't know why I'm screaming. There's shooting stars, the Liberty Bell, and this beautiful, beautiful engraved and absolutely gorgeous enamel. Fully hallmarked on the back. There's a horseshoe with clovers or flowers. There's the dove of peace, or absolutely beautiful bird in that kind of foliate scrolled border, and that was given by someone. It looks like Hazel. Looks like Hazel gave that to Helen back in the day. Fleur-de-lis. This one, sometimes when we see these, people will say that there were used by babies for teething because those little chew marks. I believe that that is true. Some people have said that that wasn't true. I think that that was true because that's not natural wear. Why would that one look like that and all these other ones be in such good condition if they've been on the same bracelet? See how even the oxidation is? Don't tell me that that was just beat up. That wasn't just beat up. This should have been beat up. They're all on the same bracelet at the same time. That was from a baby teething on this. It's just absolutely incredible history on some of these pieces. And I do agree with that, by the way. This is incised and then enameled American flag. And I take great pride in our United States of America. And it's absolutely a gorgeous charm. And it reminds me of my pride in our country. Sterling silver, a very fancy C. So again, maybe given from a person with the first name of C. As we go through these, there's more military ones. There's one with a slight bit of enamel. There's one that's hand engraved and hand chased. But look at the detail of a little heart inside of another heart, and the scale and the variance of design. You can get lost in collecting these. I would say that of the known patterns, I've probably personally handled a few hundred of the known designs. There's the Forget-Me-Not with the flower. There's one from Lorna, who engraved her name across that banner. I simply love these hearts because they are love tokens. That was given from Ray. Ray gave this to Helen. Forget Me Not. Home Sweet Home. This one came from Betty. Betty absolutely loved Helen. Maybe that was her sister. Maybe that was her mother. Look at the one that has the applied arrow on it. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Here's my Capricorn charm. Like I said, I added that to personalize it. And then in this final row, this bracelet was put together. So none of these related to Helen, but they do now. So there's a layer to this that put this all together. A turquoise, that's very much so later Victorian on this one. So stylistically, I would date that to about 1900. This one is dated 97. So that's not 1997, that's 1897. So that one's 1897. Look at how different that is with that kind of engraved initials or monogram on the back of it. Like I said, these are sometimes very difficult to get an exact date, but when it's engraved that way, come on, we don't know. We know the truth of it. And the style of the engraving and the writing, that's very Victorian. Now, maybe that person was inspired by Victorian writing. We don't know. We weren't there. So look at this one with the teething marks again. A tiny little baby heart. Shooting stars. Another one that's asymmetrical. Another turquoise gem. There's the infamous J. What I loved about adding that to the bracelet, it really completed the story for me. Now we're going to zoom back out. And I always say zoom back out and then I zoom back in. We're going to zoom back out because this is quite the parade. This necklace took me, I think that, listen to the noise. Listen to this. Does that not sound like goodness? It sounds like the most beautiful jewelry wind chime. So wait until you see this. And people that collect Puffy hearts and people that collect charms are just going to lose their mind. This is how much I spoiled myself. Now this took 20, I think about 22 years to complete this. And it's 38 inches long. So it's 38 inches. It's 38 inches of puffy hearts and just a beautiful thing. So at the end of it, I start at the end down here. It is a gorgeous sterling silver enameled compact. And what I loved about this, yeah, it has a little chip. These are always chipped every single time we see them. But look at that with the original powder puff in there. Sign down on the inside and the beautiful little mirror. I loved that compartment and compact. And so we start here and then we'll just go. And it'll be a parade. I won't comment, on much, but I'll say this much. Oh, this is one of my favorites, the Racing Greyhounds. It's a very hard one to find. If you find the Greyhounds, go for it. Because if you don't go for it, you will regret not getting this one. Trust me. I hunted this one for probably 14 years. And I don't think I've seen one since. Haven't looked these up lately because this was like part of my earlier collection when I was really investing in things that I loved. And then this one is another Lample, so that will be signed with that. Let me go in on the signature for Walter Lample. And it's spelled differently. It's L-A-M-P-L, Lample, pronounced Lample. And let's see here. So this is 2 rows of a necklace. And did I get it really? I got it really tangled up on itself. Hold on. Let me straighten this out. Okay, there we go. And I feel better. Well, almost. I love the sound this makes. Oh, I just love this necklace. Now, why is this end never gets tangled? Hold on, let me look at this really close. And I guess this is the opportunity in the video because the universe always decides when I'm supposed to thank you. And I just want to say thank you again so much for all that you do for me and for all that you do for channels on YouTube that you really like. Let me get some of this dust and dirt out of my box. I don't want to be judged. No judgment on my channel. And let's see here. All right, there we go. So this is amethyst and sterling. That one's early Mexican. And then this is the airplane. And this one's not an easy one to find. And yeah, that's a fantastic one. The racing horse with rider. And then the horse on this side. Look at the detail of that. And then people say, well, I don't like hearts. Well, I don't like heart-shaped anything, and I'm addicted. I'm just simply addicted by the fact of being a love token, and just exceptional. So if you don't love hearts, I hope that this video might change your mind. It might enlighten you to open your horizons and say, you know, I didn't understand hearts until this video. Mary Jane. It looks, oh, Mary Sue. Looks like Mary Sue. Yeah, Mary Sue. And that looks like a Lample. Yeah, that's a Walter Lample. There you go. There's another Lample with the stylization and the turquoise in the center. That's $65 by itself. Can you imagine how much this would cost? Look how far we have to go. I'm dawdling. This one's probably a Lample as well. Is that a Lample? Yeah, Walter Lample. So you kind of know the style of Lample when you see them. Oh, here's one with the key. So this key, if I took this off of here, the key will open the lock. See how that doesn't have the thumb mechanism to open it? So this little key will go inside of here, and when you turn it, it unlocks this. So that physically unlocks. Make sure that works when you buy it. The working padlocks now start at $50. I have not seen one under $50. To find it with the key, very unusual. Sometimes you may be able to get $90 or $100 for a padlock, just so you know. This one, I don't know who did this one. Oh, this is a locket. Did I put my photos of my dog in this? Let's see here. Let me see if I can open that really quick. Wow, I can't get it open. Well, it's not meant to be opened then, but that's the most beautiful enamel on silver. This one, another padlock, and I don't have the key to this one. But look how old that is for Victorian. That's pre-1900. Yeah, that's pre-1900 for sure. This one, oh, the clasped hands. I think I have a few of these. And I never minded when they were dented in like that. I never minded. It didn't bother me. This one has a key, but that's a faux key to the heart. That's more 40s, 50s. And this one has a glass jewel. I love that rocker engraving across that surface. If this heart could talk, I wonder what it would tell us. This one, beautiful, absolutely beautiful faux padlock on that one. I just get lost in these. And thank you for letting me rediscover these necklaces. And what a parade of hearts. That was another Lample. Here's another J. I got obsessed with finding J hearts. That one's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, this one's crystal. Victorian. That came off of a watch fob. And I liked the balance of this necklace. If you saw this kind of like outright, you would see that there's a balance and a story all the way up this necklace. So that horseshoe is great. This is a perfume pendant, so they would put a piece of cotton underneath there and they would soak it in a perfume, and you can see that residue on the inside. So that was for aroma. That's sterling silver, and look at the fineness of that hand-painted garland of flowers. Love it. Normally, I would say to people, don't put enamels on these and let them clang together. I don't let these beat themselves together. I've worn this necklace for a long time, and as I added them, I continued to wear it, and I never chipped any of these. I've never chipped any of these. Look at this one. The Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. There we go. I knew it was close to that. Sometimes that saying will be different. And some people say mispa, and I guess I could say that that's okay to pronounce it that way, because that's the way I've always pronounced it. And then look at this one. Yep, a Cupid, and then with engraving behind. Sterling silver. I think all of the ones on here are sterling. Oh, I put this on because I didn't know where else to put that little enamel. And I thought it was sweet and helped tell the story. Faith, hope, and charity. I had to have faith, hope, and charity on this necklace. That had to happen. Let's continue to go up. I don't think we have much left on this even. Oh, there's the arrow and bow and arrow. And I think I have one with a quiver somewhere. And there's that star one, really mashed up. But that has history. That has a story to tell. That was really worn, a lot. Little hearts, and then, oh, here we go. Now I remember this. We're a little out of sync over here. This is another compact. Let me see if I can get this one open. This one may have the photos in it. I know that I put photos of my dog. No, I didn't put them in here. This one's sterling silver. And look at that beautiful opalescent blue glass enamel. Really fantastic design. Garlands of flowers, very Edwardian. I would say on this one, 1910, maybe 1915. And so beautifully done. And again, I would recommend don't put it next to something that hits it. So across the other part of the necklace, there's nothing large that would swing and hit that. Once you chip that enamel, you're done for. This one is another padlock, beautifully done, wonderfully executed. And of course, I had to have this one with that countersunk, hand-engraved design on the inside. I would consider that late Victorian into 1900, 1910 on that one. Look at that beautiful glass enameled clover, four-leaf clover. This one absolutely exceptional as well. Sterling silver and such beautiful enamel work on that. And then just ones that they had such a charge to them. Let's see what's going on at the back of the necklace down here. Oh yeah, I adjusted the length of it because it was slightly too long and I didn't want to hit that bottom compact. But look at I had to put this whimsical bunny on. Anytime you make an animal become human, I'm in. A bunny rabbit with a dress jacket and an umbrella or parasol in lime green and orange, sterling silver. Okay, I was in. And then this drapes down the back of the neck. So from here down, where this kind of stop is that I put there, this trails down the back of the necklace so people see that on the back of my shirt. And then a lot of times people say, is that a little bunny rabbit on your back? And I'm like, it sure is. But see, I've always worn jewelry differently than everybody else. I just didn't follow a trend. I didn't follow look what Hollywood is doing. Don't tell me what Hollywood's doing, because I'll do the exact opposite. So look at that, for goodness. And look how long it goes. It just goes on and on and on of this parade of beautiful puffy hearts. I hope this video inspires you to take a second look at maybe things you wouldn't normally look at. This collection of sterling and hearts, I would say if you were to evaluate something like this, you've got to remember it's taken a long time to construct this per heart, and then the additive process of, $100 to $125, $95 to $125, $200, 50, 60, 50, 60, 50, 60, 35 on the low end. The additive process of such collections really elevates the value of such things. I will say that I was offered $1,000 for it. I had it at a show, and I graciously declined because I didn't feel as though any price would really make me happy. There was no, and I say that for, new dealers as well as old-time dealers. I say, if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. That's what I say. I also say if it's for resale, don't hold out for potential money. Those are my two best pieces of advice for people who have been in the business a long time and people that are just entering the antique and vintage resale business. So, I thank you so much for your time. I hope within the next, from airing this video, I think it's going to be 24, 48 hours. I hope I hit my 10,000 subscriber officially. I'm so excited about it. It's a milestone. And like I've said before, I don't necessarily want to be the most popular person, but it sure feels good. It really does feel amazing to be accepted and loved. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I am planning a Christmas tree extravaganza of 4 of my feather trees. I put a poll up the other day for all of you to vote on which tree you wanted me to cover. I am also in process of rescuing and redressing that antique feather tree. that really sad feather tree that I was driving Jeremy crazy with in the short feeds. I am redressing that. I do not want to alter that permanently. I want to be able to undo anything that I construct and restore on that tree. So I'm being careful because I think the tree is perfect just the way it is. Bare, sad, expired, and forgotten about. It's so primitive and so beautiful. It's a German feather tree. Has no feathers on it. It was left in a farmhouse attic. I'm getting lost in another story, but that tree means the world to me. It's a very strong, beautiful tree, and I want to breathe new life into it, but I don't want to alter it permanently. So I'm working on that to release that as well. I am so excited to share my Christmas ornaments with you because I was supposed to do it last year and I had just gotten started on YouTube, so I ran out of time. Speaking of time, I should let you all go. Thank you so much for joining in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And again, Merry Christmas, and I will see you very soon. You know how I end this because it's 100% true. I love you because I do.